Welcome to FitBody Lifestyle, the show where we dive deep into the world of fitness, health, business, relationships, and the art of living a balanced life. I'm Jamie.
And I'm Greg, and we're here to give you the benefit of our experiences in the fitness and bodybuilding industry, the corporate world, running a business, personal development, and building healthy relationships.
Whether you're sweating it out in the gym, hustling in your business, or seeking balance in your everyday life, you're in the right place.
So lace up those sneakers and grab that water bottle, and let's get ready to transform our minds, our bodies, and our lives.
Welcome back, FitBody Lifers, to another Fusion hack. We're so happy to bring some tips for you today that you can implement immediately in your life. And we have an amazing guest with us today, Miss Samm Murphy Hunter, and she's going to be sharing with us some thoughts around negative self-talk, around the way that you're looking at yourself based on situational awareness and those types of things. But first, would you just introduce yourself and tell a little bit about yourself?
Yes. So my name is Samm, and I have the absolute honor of being in the space of transformational coaching. And really what that just means is helping people get more of what they want. Where are they at? Where do they want to be? And how do we identify what's sort of in the way so that we can remove that so we can have more joy, fun, fulfillment, and all the magic that life has to offer.
I love it. And that's why you're our life coach. So we're so grateful to have you here today. And, you know, it's funny because we were talking through so many different things that we wanted to share and ideas. And of course, you know, since we keep this abbreviated version, we're going to just really, you know, dig into some nuts and bolts of what people can do immediately to start getting some results.
Absolutely.
So go on.
Yeah, well, the context that we're going to talk about this for this Fusion hack is we deal with defeat all the time. And in the competition world, there's only going to be one winner at every show.
Yes.
So how do you then reframe and deal with that negative self-talk that oftentimes can attach to not winning?
Yes, absolutely. Thanks for asking. The number one thing that I would want people to start to do is if you find yourself in that position or you found yourself in that position in the past, to reflect on what are you making it mean about yourself? If you weren't number one, is it, I'm not good enough, I knew it, right? Really starting to explore, and it'd be great to just write it down. It's good to think about it, but it can be really helpful to start a note in your phone or get out some paper and really write down, okay, what am I making this mean about myself? And you may be surprised what comes out, because sometimes we say some harsh, crazy things to ourselves. I'm worthless. I'm never going to be good enough. I'm not going to be loved, all from this one moment. And as far as a reframe goes, I think too, looking at when we make it mean and we attach our identity to it is when it gets really dangerous. That this is who I am. Because then if it doesn't happen, there's a loss. Well, who am I and what does this mean about me? So also that invitation that there's more shows and more opportunities, and that this is just an incident, a data point, a learning, a moment, not an identity. So from that place, and then again, reflecting on, okay, you've got your paper, what have you made it mean about yourself? And then when you get done, challenging yourself really to say, is that true? Is it true that this one event, this one moment, this one period of time is the evidence that says that this statement that is likely quite harsh is true, that I am worthless? And really starting to look at that. And even if the mind first wants to say yes, I want that invitation to challenge. Have you done something that impacted somebody's life in a positive way? Where can you bring something in? And sometimes that can be hard to do when we're looking at ourselves. It's hard sometimes to challenge it. So something that can be really helpful is to take the next step to say, if this was your best friend or your daughter or a family member, what advice would you give them? If they didn't win first place at this one event or at this piece, which was important, I know there's a lot of effort, and that's not to mitigate that there isn't so much effort and energy that goes into this and that you really wanted it. But if they didn't get it, would they be worthless? Would you share that with them? Or what would you share with them? And what can be really insightful about this is, first, again, I would encourage still the writing on that. Well, I would tell them that there's another opportunity that we can learn here, that we get to move forward. And then really when you realize, okay, that's the kindness and generosity we show to others, and realizing the intensity and the harshness that we often turn towards ourselves. And then that invitation to where can we start to integrate some of that wisdom that we would be guiding and sharing with somebody else with ourselves.
I love that thought process, because I know there's so many times, I myself, or I hear someone else, talking about themselves in a negative way, and being able to then take a look at it, step out of it, and be able to take a look at, what if somebody I cared or I loved, or like you've said before, even a stranger was saying that about themselves, and seeing that we need to give ourselves grace, and we need to, be kind to ourselves, and, we're our own worst critics, and we can tend to really be very harsh sometimes.
We often are the meanest to ourselves, and we wouldn't tolerate it from somebody else, yet we beat ourselves up day in and day out.
Right. So that's a great way to just be able to step outside of it just for a moment, and then really be able to see it for what it is. Yes. Take the emotion out of it and look at it as if it were someone else.
Totally. And it just gives us a new perspective. And then when we have that awareness, really that commitment of, okay, can I start to make this a new habit? Can I start to flex and work out my mind and my mindset in the way that I do my body? The way that, all your clients and tend to that with fitness and nutrition, and looking at, okay, this is an aspect of myself. And if I can change this, what I'm saying, how I'm speaking to myself every moment, every day, because we're there 24/7, what else could radically shift in our life? How could things get easier and lighter and more joy, and really bringing us back to that place of worthiness and self-love and that gentleness and grace to self?
And we talk a lot about growth mindset versus fixed mindset, and that's a lot of what this is talking about, which is, and when you say, is it true? I think that's an interesting question, because I think in that 3-step process, I think probably a lot of people would say, I am worthless because I didn't win. I think a lot of people will default to, I am. I didn't win today, so I am worthless. And I think that's funny because, in other conversations we've had, Sam, you talked about, like, well, what's the evidence of that? And beyond what would you tell, somebody you care about, what is the evidence that you're worthless? I mean, and what does that really mean to you? And are you digging into that?
Yes. And again, just that challenge that, okay, there is a part of us, and this is the other, I think, thing I'd like to invite people here. Sometimes we think all of us is worthless. We have this one thought, so that is us, that's an identity, that's a truth. No, that's a little part. One part is feeling sad or having a temper tantrum, and maybe even from a place of trying to motivate us or trying to help, and realizing, okay, but what about the other parts of me? Am I a good person? Do I help other people out? Am I a good parent? Do I care for others? Am I a good sister? Am I a good friend? And that's where we can start to flex the mind again, to look for that new evidence, to challenge these harsh critical beliefs. Because a lot of times, imagine if we had two, almost like the devil and the angel. The devil might be a little overdeveloped. We've been letting him run rampant and feeding him a lot of Cheetos, Whereas maybe we haven't been nurturing to the part that's like, you're good, you can do it. And really starting, once we can identify and maybe even personify a little bit in that visual, oh, okay, how can I quiet this or not feed this as much and allow this more room? Because both are there. One often just gets a little louder, a little more aggressive.
Right.
That's the voice. The devil voice is the voice we call the Karen voice, for lack of a better description. Yep. I don't know. That's probably not very fair to Karens, because I'm sure there's some great Karens out there. But
unfortunately, we didn't label it though. We didn't come up with it, right?
We didn't. Yeah. That is fantastic, and thank you so much for sharing. So tell everybody that's listening or watching how they get in contact with you.
Yes, absolutely. So you can find me on Instagram at Samantha Hunter, and that's Samantha with 2 M's. Or my website is www.sammhunter.com. And that is, again, Sam with 2 M's. So SAMM Hunter.com. And I would love to connect.
That is beautiful, to use your word. And the 3 points here that we talked about was, if you get in that loss, and I think what you're encouraging people to do, which is what we encourage people to do, is actually write it down.
It's so helpful to write it down.
It makes such a difference when you write things down. There's something that it does. I mean, and the science on this is fairly established, but it just does something different if you write it down. So write down what it means, what that means to you. Is that right, what you said?
What we're making it mean.
What you're making it mean about yourself.
What we're making it mean about ourselves, right? Because that's where we start to uncover and look under the hood at some of this self-talk and some of the beliefs that we may be holding about ourselves, or some of the mindset that, again, is sort of this invitation of, like, for some people it could be like, oh my. When we really are faced with this piece of paper or this list, it's like, dang, that's what I think about myself. Again, it's that backpack full of rocks. It's that What could we do in life if we thought that we were worthy and deserving and capable? What kind of hope and motivation and fire does that give us versus trudging through the mud of trying to prove? So it's looking at, okay, if we can see these beliefs, what can we start to do to dispel them, to start to live life in a whole new way?
So what am I making it mean about myself? Is it true?
Yes.
And then the third point is, would I talk this way or say these things about somebody I care about?
Yes, because sometimes when it's us, like you said on step 2, we're like, yeah, it's true. I am terrible.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay. And if it was someone that we loved, what would we say to them? It's just a beautiful reframe that gives a little space from ourselves that can have a little, oh, okay, look at the harshness that I have here, and really help us to start to soften and say, oh, okay, maybe that's not true. That then lets us come back to number 2 with a little more evidence.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. And thanks for tuning in, FitBody Lifers. And remember the 3 Bs: be good to yourself,
Be good to each other,
and be safe. And remember to like, comment, subscribe, leave your reviews, and tell us how we can deliver the content that you want. Thank you.
Thank you for tuning in to FitBody Lifestyle. We hope today's episode has left you feeling motivated and equipped to tackle your fitness goals, business challenges, and the daily dance of life. Remember to value progress over perfection. Life's tough enough alone. Find the chosen family around you to help you along the way.
If you enjoyed today's episode, we'd really appreciate it if you would subscribe and leave us a review on your favorite streaming platform. And don't forget to follow us on Instagram at FitBody Fusion.